Morning, good morning. Come up in the room, try to get the stuff set up. I want to talk about a few things today. Every day I just sit back here and I look at the factors, human evolution. Are we getting better? Are we getting stupider? Are we paying attention? Do we know who the real enemy is? Are we even focused on or even thinking about the enemy? Are we busy off fighting each other? Do we even know what the threat is? Do we care what the threat is? Are we reducing our tribalism? Human, this bi-hominid thing, migrated all across this planet, discovered all kinds of technologies, worked together as a collective. Sometimes they didn't work together as a collective. But collectively, we all utilize those resources today. We all utilize all of the inventions. Like I was looking at Wikipedia this morning. It's awesome. Like modern scientists, archaeology. We are victims of our hubris, and everybody thinks they know it all. All over social media, you got doctors, scientists, rocket scientists, economists, analysts. They know everything. So I question everything. But looking on Wikipedia, I was looking at the human evolution. Like all the inventions we had, we've made, from clothing. Where did clothing come from? I don't have a list on clothing. But glue came out of Italy 200,000 years ago. Spears came out of Germany 400,000 years ago, they say. Were the first ones they found. The wheel, they say, and stone tools go back to Ethiopia 2.6 million years ago. Cooking, 2.3 million years ago. They don't know where that came from. But from mortar to tally sticks, 44,000 years ago. Where'd that come from? Who did that? Swaziland. Good job, guys. Cave paintings. We learned to paint from Spain. Spain taught us how to paint, y'all. Your cousins in Spain, 40,000 years ago. The mortar and the pestle came out of Asia 37,000 years. Rope, 28,000 years ago. All of these things, human invention, we've created all of these things. Things that made all of our lives easier. But what happens when our lives get easier? Like I was thinking about this, we swallow that convenience. Hold on, cue royalty free music, stop. Had to say that just to be careful, people. YouTube likes to shut down videos. I see Brother Bill is in the house. They shut down videos. They shut him down, or they at least shut off the video, but they'll shut it down for almost anything. That's why it's royalty free, right? I can play the music, leave me alone. Alcohol, 7,000 BC, up to modern times. So this is what I'm thinking. I think that all of our cousins, all of our brothers, because if you still don't really realize that we're all related, we all have the same DNA, we're all the same stupid creature, something is really wrong with you. Let's not let it take another 1,000 years of everybody living in North America turning into Native Americans, looking like the indigenous, because that's what solar radiation will do, because the same genetics in them are in you. We don't want to wait another 1,000 years before we embrace the facts that we are all family. We all come from the same early creatures, right? All of our ancestors worked together and they put together all of this amazing stuff. They put together all of this just technology and advancement that made our lives easier. So our lives got easier, but there's always savings in technology and technological advancement. When we made the robots, when we make automation, when we make things that make our lives easier, somebody keeps the profit. And I think we're not thinking about who keeps the profit. Do a little background music. Like one of the things even going back millions of years ago, I think about the invention of the automation of making of cars, right? So going back, was it 60 years ago, we could pretty much automate the entire process of making a car. Lives got convenient for the workers, but the prices didn't go down. Right? If you can automate the making of a car, 80% of the process, you would expect that there would be a major price drop. Why was there no price drop? Somebody kept the profit. Somebody decided that it was a good idea to keep the profit. Like I was looking at the news this morning, and I'm not so much worried about what everybody else is worried about. We are coming into a planetary shift where every model of government we have now are already outdated. Capitalism, communism, socialism, they're all based in money, competing with other humans in work and making things. Communism, socialism, human labor, collective. Human labor is going away. Robot labor is taking it over. Software labor. There's not anything you can do that a robot can't do better, except for maybe loving people and coming up with creative ideas and solutions. And you got AI working on that. What happens to us if all we do is argue over dead concepts? Capitalism, socialism, communism. What happens to us? Like, think about it. Every time we make an advancement, somebody keeps the profit, we get the convenience. But we're now in an age of we're about to replace human labor and money. They're all going away. I see y'all talking about Brother Bill. So Brother Bill was out there, was it just 2 days ago? Black helicopters over the house doing scans. Brother got concerned, threw his video up. Family jumped in. Everybody started sharing it all out. Let everybody know something's going on, right? Because the police state is the police state. The deep state is the deep state. And mind you, they don't care what color you are. They don't care if you're poor. They don't care if you're upper class, middle class. It doesn't really matter. When they got your number, they're coming for you. And so everyone jumped in, looked out for Bill. It was a good thing, though. Yesterday, one of the sisters hit me up, Pam, and she said, you know, have you heard from Bill? Haven't heard anything from Bill. Went out to his page, check him out, make sure he's posting, he's good. And so we're building a family. People are looking out for each other, and that's what's important. But also think about this, as all this automation comes in, they call them the deep state for a reason. Right? They don't call it the in your face state. They call it the deep state. Obviously, they're deep. Why are they deep? Because they're scared. What are they scared of? If you don't like this thing, you don't like this police state, you don't like kids in the inner cities getting murdered, you don't like brothers out, the ranchers, Lavoy Finicum, and those guys getting killed. In fact, didn't Trump just release 2 of them yesterday? Or 2 days ago, something like that? 2 of the brothers they had locked up. It's funny, I posted that. And I think one of the sisters responded. She said, you know, wow. You know, you're actually relating Lavoy Finicum to the kids being killed in the inner city. And I am, because they are related. It's all the same thing. It's all the same deep state that both parties are rolling out. And how does that relate to the mess in Africa right now? I met this brother from Africa just yesterday. Trump was talking about Africa in his speech yesterday. How bad it is in certain areas. You know, I think Brother Mark posted the thing about Coney. I didn't know anything about this. Coney 2012, watched the whole video. It was interesting. That, you know, these warlords are taking kids, grabbing the kids up, getting them to kill their parents, shoot their parents, and then taking them in and getting them to fight their wars for them. It's all related. It's all related. Brenda said deep secrets, right? They call them the deep state because they have deep secrets and they don't need you to know about them. Why? Because if you actually knew and you connected the dots with automation and rollout of robots and human labor going away and the money completely going away because robots don't work for money, then you would be against where all of this is going. That's why it's deep. It's not the in-your-face state, which is a great thing. They call it the deep state because they have to hide. I'll never be scared of somebody that has to hide. It means that you still have the power. It means that we still have the power. We still have the ability to realize we're all related. We don't have to like each other. You don't have to like me, but we're all related. Where does this all end? Where the robots can stock the shelves, do your cooking, replace everything you do your accounting, plant the trees, plant the gardens, grow the food. When human labor is gone, what happens to humans? Like, I don't even see it. I was going to play an interesting thing by Chris Hedges. I'm going to take you into Brother Chris real quick. This all gets back to poor people. Because that's the plan for you. Their plan for you is to push you so deep into poverty that you have no other place to go but a violent place. Like, isn't that the whole, you have the middle class, lower class, and the prison class. That's all you got. You got two options when you're on the bottom. You go homeless or you do something to survive. And that thing is criminal. Right? It's like a human being. When you push him into a dark spot, they can't eat, can't drink. They don't have a place to live. They're going to do some very, very dangerous things. Your most sweetest pastor, the most loving church, the people that you see out there taking care of the homeless, they all have the same exact DNA that are in the people who are throwing the hate around today. Same DNA in them as in you. If you were raised in a scarce, impoverished environment, you would become that. That would be you. You are capable of some of the worst monsterific things possible because all of our brains work exactly the same way. You push a human being into a corner, you're going to get the worst violence you've ever seen. And yet in America, people are starting to feel it. They're starting to see it. I don't know if you can feel it. I don't know if you can see it. I drive around here and I see very wealthy areas getting wealthier. And I see my middle class areas getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And I see them turning on each other because that's what they do. When you're backed in a corner, you'll do anything. You know? So is Trump here to help? Is Trump here to destroy things? Like I got into a long conversation yesterday about it. It's just like Trump is just Trump. He's in an office, and the requirement of that office is to loot America. It's always been to loot America. And that's why it doesn't matter who you put in. They can be black, white, blue, green, yellow, purple. It does not matter. They have very few decisions that they actually are allowed to make. They were talking about NATO. You know, of course, the discussion is whether or not Trump saved NATO. Trump went in, saved NATO. NATO only exists for one reason, warfare, to murder and loot. So yes, of course he went in and saved NATO because that's what he was supposed to do. Talking down NATO before, but now he went in to save it. So now the people who feel that Trump actually is in control of his own actions are cheering. Yeah, he did it. Obama couldn't do it. You know, people who I guess loved Obama and hated him are upset. Oh, NATO needs to go away. And they switch sides and they jump around because they actually don't control their thought processes. They don't control their emotions. They're pushed into these very scarce, dangerous areas where you'll go fight somebody in the streets of Portland because they have an American flag. Does an American flag make you racist? I got an American flag, you know. Brother Terry's talking about the presidents of puppets. They are. But not very many people see that. Like, I think a lot of people see that. I don't see everybody seeing it. And I think that everybody can't see it, right? There are people in those bad spots that they don't have a choice. Should Trump be the president of the United States of America? Absolutely not. But does it matter? Absolutely not. But the one thing, like I told the lady yesterday, I do appreciate that I think I see in him is he's raw. He doesn't sugarcoat. Like if you saw how he treated Germany yesterday, treated Germany in that meeting, he was pretty raw with him. I always appreciate a man who lets me know where he's coming from. I always appreciate a woman who lets me know where she's coming from. I never appreciate a liar. I'm good. I'm good if I know your game. I'm good if you are honest, because then I know what I need to do. If you're a slick talking, lying, snake, deceitful, evil thief, it's the worst type of person, worst type of president, worst type of congressman and senator. Because of the tricks, they can make the deep state work. An honest president can have a little challenge with that. You know, it's like Cat Williams' video I like to go back to. You know, the tiger's going to show you that it's a tiger when it needs to. You know, I don't mind the emotional outburst. Sometimes I'm annoyed with some of the things he might say and how he says them, but that's who he is. And I think it's our first insight into how foul America or the United States corporation actually is. He's really given us a good look at our ugly. But he's a little too good. He's a little too good. That's why I think they let him in. And I think that's why he tweets all day and night. They cheer, they love him. Like I said, all the time, the DNC, they love Trump. He is the greatest enemy that they could ever portray because he scares the hell out of the other people. And I'm hopeful about that, but the biggest problem, because you have that passion and that passion's important. The problem is, what do you do with that passion? Does it turn into violence against other poor people, or does it turn into how the hell did we get here? It's not turning into how the hell did we get here fast enough, and we need to work a little harder to do that. Because the more impoverished America gets, the more it's looted, the more money is given away to foreign banks and big corporations in the United States, and the more starving, the more people are starving, like Brother Bill was even talking about. Ginseng's illegal to grow. Why would you make ginseng illegal to grow? A whole lot of money to make on that. You make people poor. You make people poor, you can make people violent. You make people poor and violent, you can control them. You don't have to be the deep state anymore. You can be the in-your-face state. But in that is where the hope lies. They're deep because they have to stay deep. We still run the show. This is still our show. Brother Mark is in the house. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that Tony 2012. I don't know if I remember it so much, but I watched the video and it reminded me. Those brothers got together and said, you know what? I don't want my kid growing up in this world. I don't want my kid, the man who did that, brother with lighter skin than you'll find in Africa. But he knew that Africa are his cousins as well. And he realized what Coney was doing. He started a campaign. 2012, what did it mean? 20 prominent people will push 12 people in position, politicians, leaders, whatever you are, to make changes to go get that bastard. I don't know if they got him. I don't know the end of the story, the rest of the story. I just watched the documentary. But we still have the power. We still can push them around. When people actually come together, when parents stand up and say, you know what? I don't want my kids growing up in this. We can change everything. And this might be the last generation. In my opinion, I think this is the last generation, right? Because all throughout human evolution we went through, and I'll post the link out to Wikipedia. You know what? I can probably post that in there if y'all want to look at it as I go down. I can show it to you. But all throughout human evolution, we made all of this stuff. And all the proceeds, all the profit didn't go to the people who made it. Didn't go to the communities, didn't go to the countries. And so there's no purpose, again, for nationalism and that nonsense. Because the 0.01% always takes the kitty home. They always take the kitty. We get convenient lives, a little more convenient. but they swallow up the vast majority. That's how you end up with a planet with billionaires and starving people all over America, all over the world. You don't pay your water bill, they shut it off. You don't pay your mortgage, they throw you out of your house. It's not even their house. It wasn't built on their technology, it was built on your family's technology. And I ask you this, your family that evolved all across this planet paid the maximum price to develop all of this. Did they do it so you could become a greedy bastard and try to be one of the 0.01% that denied them everything that they had? Copper came out of Serbia 5,000 years ago, making life easier. Lead smelting came out of Turkey 6,500 years ago. Papyrus and paper came out of Egypt 3,000 years ago, making things life easier, making people smarter. Lots of savings. It's just automation, y'all. It's just technology. That's why I always get back to the same basic root cause solutions. Look at the root cause of the problem and look at the solution. Brother Bill said, for entertainment. Yes. Are you not entertained? The bread and circus. Oh, what is wrapping up the World Cup? Before that was the Olympics, then the NFL. The really critical thinking people, the real humans gave up. And we let those who like to be entertained take over what we call politics, the people who drive this world. And for them, they just wear jerseys. I'm on this team, you're on that team, you're Arsenal, I'm the Eagles, you're Redskins. All right, now my team has got to win no matter what. And you get the blue and the red and the left and the right, and Democrats, Republicans, the whites and the blacks, the Asians and whatever. And y'all get to fighting. And we let the fools take over the direction of this world. And that's why I said we have to occupy politics. Because ain't none of this politics. For them, it's a game, like Brother Bill said. It's a circus. It's a game. They get their bread and their cheese and the grapes, and they put their monkeys in the arena and start letting them fight. And they enjoy it. Yes, my guy won. The lion ate your politician faster. We get nothing. All tricks, Sandra said. It is all tricks. They're all playing us because the people who are capable of looking in the future, knowing where all of this goes, handing everything to the biggest kings, the biggest billionaires, the biggest corporations, it ends in our extinction. Because it always has. It's always ended in our extinction. All over this planet, extinct civilizations. And I think that they all did the same thing. They got behind capitalism, got behind communism, they got behind socialism, they got behind these ideas. They attach themselves with the ideologies. They put on the jersey, not root ideologies, but mid-tier things that won't change anything because they're obsolete. It's all trends and it's bullshizzle is what Ellen's saying. And it is. It's all trends and it's all bull. That's why it's time you got to lay down the sword for who you think is your enemy. And you need to look at who the root enemy is. You need to look at where all of this is going. You need to think about when your kids think back, your grandkids think back. Well, who was great-great-grandpa? Who was great-great-grandma? Why are we here? Why is the planet extinct? Why is the planet destroyed? If they're even left. It's because great-great-granddaddy liked to fight. He liked the Raiders, so he joined the Raiders. He liked the Democrats. He liked the Republicans. He thought Angela Merkel was doing good things in the world, not planning for the future. He thought Trump was doing good things. He thought Obama was doing good things. Meanwhile, they all do just enough to keep you buying the bull. Just enough to keep you fighting. They give you words to make you want to fight. You hear the word capitalism. That's my jersey. That's what I'm supposed to support. Even though capitalism is dead. Think long game. People think long game. Don't think the short game. If you think the short game, we're all going to come up short. We might make it. We might do really good. But our kids are going to come up short. Big time short. I don't think anything in the news is anything that we need to pay any attention to. Good morning, Diane. Monopolies. Billionaires. Kings, lords, politicians, Egyptian kings. Feudal lords. It's all the same thing. They change the names. They change the names all the time. But it's always in this model of a small group is going to save us. A small group is going to do the right thing. Interesting days we are living in, Teresa. Very interesting. Very profound. I think we're in a paradigm shift. I think you look back, days like, 3000 BC, the Bronze Age, the Bronze Age, they invented bronze, the Mesopotamians. Oh, the world's gonna end, we invented bronze. The world's gonna end, we invented tin, Central Asia, 3,000 years ago. But things changed today. Because never in those inventions where they kept all of the profits and power from inventions, we were happy with the convenience. These smartphones, we were happy with the convenience. Content with the chicken bones. Never then were we threatened to be replaced completely. Never. Today, we are threatened to be replaced completely. That's why I don't care about the whole Trump Twitter fights and that nonsense. We have to go talk to people we don't know. Brother Mark is talking about fear. We can't have the fear to not go talk to people we don't know. Make amends. Stop the fighting. Try to stop using the words that trigger them. You know how stupid it would actually be if we destroy this planet, we go distinct, like Sister Diane just said, again, because the human race has done this, I think, many times, many times, over the color of our skins, the nations we were born in, knowing nations actually don't even exist. Nations have never existed. Borders have never existed. Skin color is not even a thing. We have the science and the education that teaches that these things don't even exist. Money is a figment of your imagination. Brother Bill said, live free, be free, die living. Learn something from Brother Bill. If you don't follow William R. Bunting, you need to follow him. You need to follow him. He understands freedom. You live free. I'm not saying don't follow the laws. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you live your life, because rights are even a construct, like we talked about yesterday. Rights are just like Brother Mark said, they're just fear. It's just control based on fear. That's all it is. They get you scared and they get you to do something. Like I posted yesterday. I was thinking about religion, because religion gets us in a lot of trouble. It's kind of hard not to talk about religion. Some of these things I don't like to talk about, but they get us in trouble. Religion without faith. What is religion without faith? What is religion without spirituality? Knowing spiritual creatures started all of this. Somebody sat down, did some meditation, smoked a chiba, whatever, burnt the acacia bush, ayahuasca, Jesus heating up his herbs. Somebody spiritual, praying and meditating, intact with there's something more to this. We're not just meat. We're something more than that. And they were intact with it, that spirituality. And somehow you end up today where most major world religions have absolutely no spirituality anywhere in them at all. None of it. It's so bad that they actually ban and they get behind banning the herbs and the medicinals that the spiritual creatures all use to develop the religions, or that the men develop the religions on, right? I hate that topic, but it gets us in trouble because we have religions that have absolutely no faith within them. They have absolutely no spirituality at all. They are spiritually dead. The evidence? They murder people happily. What more evidence do you need than that? I can tell you how I feel going to a lot of these churches and temples, and you can just feel it. You ever walk around somebody and you just get this, you just get this feeling, you know something isn't right? How many people who go to these churches and these temples and things, how many of them meditate? How many of them are very spiritual? How many of them have what Brother Mark just said, no fear, that they will stand up for the right thing and you can take their life and they're fine with it? Almost none. But religion without faith and spirituality, it's just government. That's all it is. It's just government. It has nothing to do with any of your spiritual creatures, your gods, the people who started this. It's just government. That's all. It's just a set of rules and your fear. Same thing as rights. What is rights? Rights, they don't exist. You're a creature. You're born, you go do your thing. But when someone can make you scared, you gotta fear God. Fear God? Why should you fear God? You gotta fear the police. Why should you fear the police? You gotta fear the DHS and ICE and because if you don't, we'll put you in a prison in a cage. We'll send violent men to your door with guns. That's what Brother Bill said, live free. And so there's this big thing to get rid of ICE. What they say, ban ICE. Somebody sent me somebody sent me a I think it was Sister Sandra. I don't know who sent it. Somebody sent it to me this morning. Get rid of ICE. We need to get rid of ICE. Maybe ICE isn't the problem. Maybe ICE is good in your soda, but don't ever drink soda. Soda kills you. It's carcinogen. Maybe ICE isn't a problem. Maybe we live in an ice age. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the freezer. Maybe it's the concept of having a freezer that's the problem. Maybe ICE is just one organization amongst many that probably shouldn't exist. Organizations whose main purpose is to get you scared to take your rights. That's why I'm not for abolish ICE. What is that going to solve? How many deep state private organizations does the United States of the entire corporation of the entire world, because we shouldn't even call it the United States anymore. It's not the United States. It is actually the world's government. There are some that I think might be kind of opposing it, but not many. I think there's some who oppose it because it looks good to oppose it. You know, like to think, oh, we're going up against Russia, but why is Russia our friend in every conflict? Think about that. In proxy wars, our weapons might fight each other because it makes a lot of money, but I'm not convinced this whole us and Russia is different. You got to get your spirituality back. You got to remember what you're a part of. You are a part of this human collective ecosystem. You have to be smart enough to look forward. What's the point of getting rid of ICE and you keep all the rest of them? They just make a new one, right? And that's why they get you into these arguments that are useless. Same with socialism, communism, and capitalism. They're dead arguments. Organizations that exist just to take your rights shouldn't exist. But we always get in trouble because we attack the group, not the concept. We don't attack the concept of a group that takes away rights to put fear in humans to force them to do anything, to do something. Go to work, pay their taxes, support slavery, spend as much money as you can, consumerism. Federal government has no authority to have any of those groups. But we get in trouble. We attack the groups. The groups employ a lot of people. They would be whistleblowing, more of them, but they feel we attack them. So they become our foe. How does that end? Is that a good idea, or do we need to be smarter than that? It's like I said with GMO. We need to stop attacking GMO as a concept, right? Genetically engineering is not a bad thing. Genetically modified organisms are not a bad thing. Now, it's a stupid thing to put them in your mouth, but the people who are employed in those corporations will fight you tooth and nail to keep their job. Why? Because when we are poor, we will do anything we need to. So don't fight the concept. Fight its application. Genetically modified food should not exist because we don't know the long-term destruction of the human body or the environment. So none of that should exist. But the corporations should stay in place, not in the models they are today, but that GMO genetically engineering should be utilized for us. ICE as a concept is the problem, right? But the people within are not bad people. The DHS. Now they might be brainwashed, they might be poor, they might be a lot of those things. But doesn't it make sense to bring those people into the fold of the family as opposed to threaten their income and their ability to feed their family? What if we just got rid of all these private armies and sent them after people like Coney? Imagine that. Imagine if we didn't attack the organization, we attacked its utilization. Imagine if we, and I'm not even sure how possible that is, right? But whatever's on the news to me is always wrong, because I always see them attacking a label. Sister Ellen said it. They're always attacking a label that will never solve the problem. Oh, get the white people. White man then took over the world. Go get the blacks. They always give you a label and it never solves anything. It never changes anything. It allows you to expel a lot of your aggression, but it enslaves the next generation even more. I think that you take all those private organizations, those private agencies, and you try to use them for something that's good, not to enforce the laws, but to enforce freedom. It's like Trump, right? People talk about how evil he is. I don't think he's evil. I don't at all. I think he is a guy. He's not as bad as he could be. He's not as bad as his father raised him to be, but he's just a guy. I think you would be him. Possibly you might be worse if you were raised the way he was. But we're a collective. And if we can't learn to be a bit deeper than what we were born into, if we can't learn to be a bit deeper than the news, if we can't get constantly led astray by the news that almost is always lying to us, always trying to get us on an initiative that's not going to change anything, where do we go? Where do we go from here? How do we survive if we're not smart enough to not look down the road, to not look till tomorrow? Brother Anthony saying he thinks Trump is evil and Obama too. You know, Anthony, very seldom do we agree. We agree on most things. I think I have a slight disagreement there, only slight, in conceptually, right? Like, does Trump do evil things? Hell yes. That's the job. It's the job, baby. Did Obama? It's not even a question. It's not even. That's why people, the people who still think Obama was a good president, they can't stand me. I like facts too much. Murder people, you're not a good person. But they do evil things. But you know, the thing that where I go with that, Brother Anthony, is that I think though, if I were born in Obama's shoes, I had Obama's mommy and his absent daddy, and I grew up and went to college in Hawaii, and I became a community organizer, and people promoted me into the Senate, and I was surrounded by all these powerful people, and next thing you know, they want to make me president, and I get in there and I want to change the world. I say we're going to end the war on drugs, and I say all these positive things. We're going to take care of poor people, and I get in the White House. I think I'd probably be him. I think I'd probably do the same thing he did. I think if I were born Trump, born into a slightly wealthy family, Daddy really friendly with the Ku Klux Klan. Mom, I guess not there, hating women. I hope I might be slightly better than Trump, and I don't know what better means. I mean, better in terms of just being more humanistic. I hope I wouldn't be worse, but I don't know what that man went through, right? Like I watch his speeches, and you can see he's this socially, he's not from the world most of us are from. Socially, I did this in Germany. They gave me credit, and NATO gave me credit. I kept them together because I went in. I was rough on them, and they appreciated my being rough on them. And I did that. Me, 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 me. That's not most of our cultures. But I think we make demons of people and identities, and they don't solve anything. You know what I mean? I think that when we focus on, it's not Trump, it's policies, right? It's the model. The model, should a country exist based on looting, based on invasions and looting? I mean, look at America. America's being looted right now. Let's go to check out Chris Hedges in a minute. America's being looted. Just like every other country. May not be as bad, but there are people doing real bad in America, and these corporations are preying on them. Let me show you this real quick. A quick thing from Brother Hedges, the beginning of his show. I'll show this right here.
Contact with Chris Hedges. Welcome to On Contact. Today we discuss the coming collapse of the American economic system with economist Richard Wolff.
We've given a free pass to a capitalist system because we've been afraid to debate it. And when you give a free pass to any institution, you create the conditions for it to rot right behind the facade. And
we are rotting. People are rotting. I want to play the whole thing, and if you've already you're a survivalist, the world's not ending. If you're one of those, let's be clear. Very few financial analysts, very few economists anymore are debating if the American economy is collapsing. It is. They debate when, they don't debate if. And we are rotting because America's being looted by corporations like every other country. Let's keep going.
And that's what I think is happening.
The income inequality in the United States has not been this pronounced in over a century. The top 10% has 50% of the country's income, and the top 1% has 20% of the income. While a quarter of all American workers struggle on wages of less than $10 an hour, putting them below the poverty line, the salaries of the CEOs of top corporations are often in the billions of dollars. This income inequality is global. The richest 1% of the world's population controls 40% of the world's wealth. What does inequality this pronounced mean? And what are its consequences? How did it happen? And how much worse will it get with a new tax code that raises healthcare premiums, slashes social and public welfare programs such as Medicaid, Pell Grants, and food stamps, and ensures that tax hikes over the long term will climb for the working class? I discuss inequality with economist Rick Wolff. So where were this late stage of capitalism, which the Trump administration is accelerating? It's part of a pattern. Tell us where we are.
Well, we're at a point that your numbers verify, in which the capitalist system, which has been the growing dominant system for the last 300 years, wanted to present itself in contradiction to feudalism and slavery as the system that creates a massive middle class that lifts everybody up. And what we have, now that it has become the global system, is the exact opposite. It has reproduced the kinds of grotesque inequalities that we associate with everything from the Versailles Palace of the late Louis back to the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. It is a stunning expose of an economic system that couldn't deliver what it promised and now wants to distract everybody from this harsh reality that you pointed to. This is the major measure of a capitalist system by its own claims, and it can't deliver. That's why we're besieged with economic and political theater. anti-immigration, tariffs, all that kind of stuff, blaming foreigners, anything to get us away from confronting an economic system that doesn't work for the majority of the people.
Well, not only...
I'm gonna stop there, and I'm going to post a link. You guys can watch it. This is the problem, and this is why I don't fight Trump voters. You will never see me in the street arguing and fighting with those people. Why? Because they're brothers, and we need them. Absolutely need them. Our country is rotting like the rest of the world. Bill just said it. And they don't talk about the nations that are gaining in wealth. They don't talk about how well other countries are doing. They don't talk about the money that we're shoveling over there while America's rotting. Trump is not helping that. That is not his job. I think that, and it's not an anti thing. I think that he does what he can. I think that Obama does what he can. They're human. They got hearts in them too. They have a little bit of love down in there, and they do what they can, but they're not going to be allowed to do anything significant. Trump will deploy, I think about it like a system, right? People say Trump is more of a nationalist than a globalist, and Obama was more of a globalist. I agree with that. That actually makes sense. I mean, based on the things that I see, I agree with that. However, who's at the top of all of that, right? The biggest billionaires. And do the biggest billionaires care if the billions go to nationalistic companies or if they go to global billionaire global companies? They don't care. The money still goes to them, not to you. Now, mind you, we always get a few chicken bones, they'll drop. But this is why I don't fight the Trump voters. I don't, because half the time they're right, half the time they're wrong. Half the time the Obama voters are right, half the time they're wrong. Might be more than that, less than that. But the reality is that this doesn't end in us, our children, the future generations, having a good time. This doesn't end in them doing anything to the next generation that we would want done to us. This is about selfishness. That's what this is really comes down to. It's about selfishness, and it's about tribalism. People get in their tribe, they put on their jersey, and they look down the road, and they're okay with whatever comes. I don't see anybody debating whether or not if the robots are taking all the jobs. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm gonna put this behind me. That's a good thing. I was looking at, I always keep an eye on Boston Dynamics. Because Boston Dynamics, they're not even hiding it. They're a phenomenal company. They make some amazing robots. I mean, the things that these robots can do is fantastic. They can go get Coney, but they're not going to get Coney. They're coming for your job. And they're going to come for your job. Why? Because the nationalistic billionaires don't care if you work or not. They don't care if you get paid. Because what will happen? What does somebody do when they fall into mass amounts of poverty? They survive. They do a crime. The deep state's almost big enough. The police state's almost big enough. They will shoot anybody dead in the street because that's what they're paid to do, the Praetorian Guards. Look at this one. Look at the sand flea. The world we're coming into is insane. Watch this thing jump up a damn building. And he just did a little hop. Well, he do a bigger hop. He's just practicing. I mean, think about the ability of robots to do the things that they can. Here he goes right here. There isn't a job that you do that they can't do. Imagine if that thing has a camera on it. Imagine if it has a flying drone with a little explosive device that is trained to fly into a person's head and blow up. How can you fight that? You have all the AK-47s in the world you want. And what are we doing? We're letting all of this technology be deployed to the billionaires, whether at a nationalistic or global level, to decide how it gets utilized. Walmart's buying these drones now. Walmart's using them to stock shelves. Right? Half of them to Sister Teresa. I love saying your name, girl. Sister Teresa. Sister Teresa said, be used as a weapon. Right? They can utilize these as weapons. They can utilize them to pull kids out of caves. The choice is really up to us. It's completely up to us. Yes, Ellen. And Chris Hedges, his speeches are so powerful because the man isn't lying. The man is telling the truth. All of this is a perfect storm, and it's all coming together to none of our benefits, to none of our birth tribal benefits. Good morning, Verna and Brother Miko. They just gutted unions with the federal government. Yes, Verna, they don't care. They're gutting the unions because people are so angry and they're fighting each other. It's like we talked about the Portland riot. What was the Portland riot about? It had nothing to do with no nationalism, hate, or nothing. Not from a white nationalism hate, but you got so many angry people there that they went there. They just needed to fight. Right? And if you're fighting them, they're going to fight you. And if they fight you more, you're going to fight them back. So what happens? They're fighting each other. None of them control any of the resources anywhere in the world. And the corporations keep doing their job, which is preparing for a world without you. That's why if you're fighting with the Donald Trump voters, you're an idiot. Love you to death, but you're the problem. If you're a Trump voter fighting with the other side, you're an idiot too. You're the problem. That robot, you see that one right there? That's going to be chasing your kids. It's going to have a gun on the front of it. Capitalism was corrupt since paper and coin money. Exactly, Miko. It's always been. But you know what? Communism is corrupt too, and so is socialism. They are all corrupt systems. They're all systems of control, and they're all based on concepts that no longer exist. Robots and software have finally changed it all. The game is done. Those governments don't work. We need a paradigm shift. None of those will work. And when you get into a fight and you love socialism and you say it, the capitalism people, they're going to fight you. That's like white and black fighting each other. That's just like the black nationalists fighting the white nationalists. Same thing. It's the same stupid thing. Stop being stupid. Get rid of the labels, everybody. We have to... We got to save ourselves. The odds aren't in our favor. That's why I laugh a little bit. The odds are not in our favor because we've been here before and we never made it. We never made it. The interesting part, though, is it's not too late because they're still called the deep state. As long as they're called the deep state, we got a chance. The minute they call themselves the in-your-face state, that's it. You want to fight a robot like this? Yeah, really? You're going to fight a robot like this? Oh, well, if you're going to take humans to work on them, and you don't think there's not going to be any psychopathic humans fixing these robots. You don't think it's going to be psychopathic humans writing software to make sure that they get highly and highly more efficient at murdering your kids and the next generation. Deborah says, stop showing these creepy things. It's so important, though, Deborah. It's important because you know what? You know, but most people don't know. Most people, they're not thinking about the long game. And that's all I want, is I want people to really think out their strategies. Really think out your nationalism or your well-meaned racism. Really think about if you want this world to keep going in this direction. Now, America might be one of the last countries that has a middle class, but eventually it won't. And the upper class will join the middle class. And then they'll all disappear. Yes, Ellen, robot boxing team. And that's another part of this, is that they sell it to us well. It's delicious, right? Who wouldn't go watch robots box? Damn it, I would. I hope by the time they start that, I'm smart enough not to. But I would want to. That would be interesting. They got that now. They got the robot competitions in Japan. Making them better, faster, smarter, getting better at ripping each other to shreds, and utilizing that software based on us buying tickets to rip us apart faster. Brother Mark said, why they want your guns too, which is why I am not for gun control. I am against every measure of gun control you could ever think of. And I'm not a gun nut. I'm not a gun nut, but I'm against it all. I'm always against disarming poor people. Always, every day, I will be completely against disarming poor people. I think that every woman should have the ability to stop an attacker. I think every impoverished person should. It's a deterrent. Just like nuclear weapons. Why do you think that they're trying to get rid of the world's nuclear weapons while America and Russia keep making more and more and more, making them bigger, faster, harder, stronger, more explosive, while they're lying to everybody about nuclear proliferation? Because they don't want any deterrence. They want to be able to tell every nation exactly what to do and when to do it. And by they, I'm not talking about Trump. Trump doesn't run anything. And I'm not talking about Obama. He didn't run any damn thing. I'm talking about whoever makes the decisions for them that make them all do the same exact thing. The evidence is right in front of your face. Why is anybody talking about Trump and Obama anymore? Why is anybody tuning in? Why is anybody even laughing at it anymore? Unresolved issues of the Industrial Revolution. Brother Glenn, spot on, because what was the Industrial Revolution? That's when everybody gave up their ability, everyone gave up their power. Everybody walked away from the farms, walked away from the blacksmith and the carpenter and all these shops and went to the city. Why? For a convenient life. And where'd all that money go? Shut down all the poor farms, all the small towns, everything, and all that money went up to the billionaires, well, millionaires at the time. Few billionaires. But we gave up our ability to take care of ourselves. So we'll do whatever they want us to do. Just another utilization of fear and walking us into whatever world they want to put us in. And right now, I don't see anybody making a plan for what happens to us. What happens to the middle class? What happens to the upper class? Nobody's even mentioning it. They want you talking about Trump and Germany and Russian oil. That's where I see most of it. I don't think it's, and it's not even conspiracy theory. I just see that the news increasingly is not talking about anything important. They're constantly getting people emotional to fight over things that make no difference, or no consequence whatsoever in the grand scheme of what happens to your kids. Viruses, gas drones, delivery systems are here. Not shown, but here. Yes, Brother Mark, and it might be worse than that. Might be worse than that. But they're not in the public face. So they're not ready to use whatever they have. Whatever they have, they're not ready to use. So we still got time to stop with our ignorance. We still got time to stop cheering our tribalism. We still got time. It's not over yet. Let me show you a picture. Human evolution. Our ancestors walked all across this planet, developed all these technologies, created all these conveniences. I just don't think they did it for the billionaires. I think all your ancestors that they murdered and they shoved down in a hole, who never had a voice, I think they did it because eventually we would realize we were all family. We would realize that there's something greater than greed. I'm already old. I'm already at old and have been starting to think that way. Well, Sharon, I'm not even sure, does old exist? You know, there's so many technologies we don't know anything about. Are humans supposed to die? Were we designed to die? Or do we just die because of what we eat, what's in our environment, or because the technology that keeps human beings alive, that turns off cell death, has just been kept from us? We don't know. We have no idea whatsoever. You know, I was looking at the other day, Sharon, I was looking at the pyramids in Antarctica. Look at this. Look at this. I love this. I was gonna show that as a background picture because they keep finding all of this stuff that doesn't make any sense. And some of them are photoshops. People make stuff up. Oh, that's not a pyramid. Let's argue over that. I don't want to argue over that. Why do I care? I don't care if that's a fake picture or a real picture. The people keep saying it's some damn pyramids in Antarctica. And nobody's asking the question, well, what happened to those people? If they did make it, even if they weren't there. The reason I love flat earthers, I always go back to flat earth. Be like, he must believe in flat earth. I keep going back to it because I'd like for the flat earthers to know the truth. And what will it take for flat earthers to know the truth? What if we're wrong? What will it take for them to know the truth? Governments having no secrets. So I always go back to solutions. I'm not a problem guy. I'm not going to sit here and talk about problems. I want to talk about the solutions. Us looking forward. If governments have no secrets, can a deep state exist? If governments have no secrets, would flat earthers be flat earthers? Or would we all be flat earthers? If governments have no secrets, if they actually are looking for these technologies that these different civilizations created long times ago, if we knew what they were, like Brother Mark said it a minute ago, if they didn't have any secrets, would they have drones with guns on them? Would they have drones with gas on them? Would we know if smart meters are starting fires? Would we know if any of the shootings are false flags? Would we be able to go in and see that the FBI was warned before these shootings are happening? And they're not actually working for us. They're because not they're bad people, but their leadership works for Wall Street. And their job isn't to keep you safe. The job is to keep you scared. The job is to suppress information. Government can't have any secrets. I keep going back to it. Politicians ought to have the damn body cameras. Why do police have body cameras? Because we're too stupid, we're too ignorant to look at the root cause of the problem. It's not the police, it's the politicians. And once we put cameras on them and we realize maybe it's not the politicians, maybe it's somebody above them. Who's above them? Maybe they need body cameras. When there are no secrets, the planet goes the way it's supposed to. When you got secrets, you can lie to people. You can push them into religions. You can make them gullible. You can make them scared. You can make them think money exists. You can make them think rights are real. You can make them think anything you want. You got your secrets. I think the Egyptian kings had their secrets. Kings and lords today have their secrets. You think that Trump is for America. You know what? Trump could love America. He absolutely could. But it does not matter. He works for an organization that does not work for America. There's water at the bottom of the ocean. Yes, there is. And there's water in the crust of the earth. Brenda. I think somebody told me that the earth isn't hollow. It is. The earth is hollow because the biggest ocean on the planet is not on the earth. It's actually in the earth. Remember that scientist found that? So I laugh at stuff like that, but we like to fight with things that we don't really know. The earth isn't hollow. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And finally, a scientist says the biggest ocean is actually in the earth. Earth is hollow. Don't argue over things that you don't know, you know? And we all do that. They are bad people. They have free will to not do that. Well, there are bad people, Sharon, but you know the thing, I look at Sharon. No, let me take it back. I don't think that they're actually bad people. I think that there are people who are raised in environments who will do the ultimate bad things because to them it actually makes sense. It's like, if you haven't watched any of the videos by James Fallon, please do. Psychopath Inside was the name of his book, and he explained that the inmates, you know, he wanted to help the inmates before he scanned them, but after he scanned them, he said that the sections of their brain that are actually utilized for empathy, they're not even lighting up. There's no light, there's no activity, there's no electric pathways. It's not even working. He said to ask some of these inmates what, you know, if murder's bad, is to ask a blind person what light looks like. Right? I think people do bad things because they were raised in environments where bad actually is good. So that's why I don't attack the people and I don't blame the people. I want to focus on the root problem, and the root problem is We have environments that manufacture people like that. We have prisons that turn people into that invokes those warrior genes. I lean on the professionals. That's why I don't say bad people, because when we say bad people, then we target the people and we put body cameras on the police as opposed to the politicians. So the police aren't bad, but the system is bad. And it's the environment and the system that has to change. Like, you know, you have a lot of police that have PTSD, right? A lot of troops, PTSD. But we don't blame the PTSD. We blame the police. We don't blame the PTSD of the war environments. We blame the soldiers. We keep making the same mistakes because we keep targeting the people and calling them bad, where the same genetics that turn them into a psychopath, which is just a person with superhuman abilities to not be boggled down with fear and aggression and empathy and patience and a conscience. They just have the ability to be a doctor and work on babies, baby after baby, blood flying everywhere. Murdering people, blood flying everywhere, not even thinking it's a bad thing. It is deep, Emerson. It's scary and it's deep. But what's scary to me is we don't go to the bottom. We got to keep going to the bottom. And I'm not going to say I have the bottom. I don't have the bottom. It's a process, right? Root cause analysis is a process. I did this in corporate America for a very long time. Root cause analysis. Keep digging down to the root till you actually get the real problem and solve problems at the base, not at the police level. Solve problems at the base level. Scarcity and poverty. I'm a psychologist. You are more understanding than me. I believe people can rise above, but I know it doesn't always happen. No, it doesn't, Sharon. And that's why again, but in the industry, you know a lot more than I do. You know, my stance is I try to listen, but there's so much. I mean, even in your field and all these fields, you have so many different people across so many different areas that they're focusing on. And it's hard for us to have a universal view of everything in anything we do. You know, gardener, grow a lot of plants, you know, computer scientist, worked on automation and robotics. And there's no way I can see everything. I just accept that the same genetics that are in those psychopaths, the same ability that gives them their survival abilities to not have a conscience are the same genetics in me. And if I were put in those situations, theoretically, the DNA, the epigenetics would do the same thing to my brain. So I don't want to judge the people. I think we can fix the problem. And if there are people who are genetically predisposed to always being a psychopath, then those people will stand out, and we can, then you'll have hundreds of thousands of psychologists who can just work on 1,000 people instead of hundreds of thousands of psychologists who are trying to work on hundreds of millions of people who are having those genes turned on. Yes, Brenda, the policies, yes, the system, the institutions, the root problem. And even after we go to that level, it might even be the philosophies and the people who believe in these concepts of money and greed, and always go deeper. Go deeper. And that's how we teach each other. If we always keep going to a deeper level, then we can share our ideas. It's not more powerful than ideas, not more powerful than a thought. And the more we go back to being what we used to be, which were critical thinkers, the only way we spread across this planet is we were immense critical thinkers. We can diagnose a problem. Otherwise, we wouldn't have survived. We didn't fight the mid-tier when the grizzly bear came after us. We didn't try to cut off his fingers. We didn't try to cut off its fingernails. Right? The police comes from you. Don't fight the police. But you never fight a man with a gun. You listen to what he says. But you go to the problem. When a dog is at home and the mailman comes, the dog attacks the newspaper. Don't attack the newspaper. Don't blame the police. Don't blame the newspaper. Don't blame the soldiers. Blame the system. Focus on the root problem. Oh, we gotta fight the Nazis. Why? What is that going to do? You've been fighting neo-Nazis for how long now? While you're fighting them here, your government's funding them in the Ukraine. But do you see the problem here? Do you see a conflict in interest at all? It's not working. Fight what creates the circumstances to why that person doesn't like you. Maybe they will like you. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Somebody asked me, my goal to turn my friends who are white nationalists into to get rid of their philosophies. No, it's not my goal. It's not. Nope, not at all. You can quote me on that. It's not my goal. I let people be them. If they don't like me, I'm fine with that. All they have to do is respect my own self-determination. Respect letting me live my life the way I want to, and I can respect theirs. I'm not trying to change that. If they want to change, they can change. If they look at me and say, you know what? That's a good guy. I'm okay with that. I hope that happens. I do. I really do. But that I'm not trying to change people because I don't want people trying to change me either. It's about being deeper than what this system makes you. It's about being a little deeper than the feet and the skin that you're actually born into, or the class or the country. It's about being smarter. You got to be smarter. You protect them, they protect you. You now have a larger collective. Shouldn't put ex-military into a job protecting civilians. No, you shouldn't, Brother Gown, because they need to talk to somebody like Joan. Or, you know, was it Joan or Sharon? I messed the names up. You know, that goes into a psychologist. But they do that, right? They bring the military home, and what is your options? You can go be a police, you can join the DHS, you can join ICE, you can join any of these police state organizations that Wall Street controls, or you can go to prison. They're not going to take care of you. I just posted that the other day. I think it was Mariette posted she had a friend talking about going to the military. Why would you do that? She wanted people to kind of share with them their perspectives. And my perspective is you're just meat. By far, that's the number one reason not to go into the military. You're meat, you're literal meat. You're blood in a warm body that can hold a gun and will murder people for Wall Street and banks and looting. The same looting operation that's going in America. And that's why I'm not into the whole nationalism thing. I'm a localist, which might be in a nation, but the nation doesn't exist. My local community exists. The nation, the borders don't exist. Colonizers made all of that crap. You know, when I say I'm for open borders, I'm not saying for people to run across borders. I think human migration is what we've always done. I think the world, look at where we've gotten to. Allowing human migration, allowing humans to migrate like the wildebeest do. Well, it's going to break apart our economy. We don't have any jobs. Well, why don't you have jobs? I think Brother Vegan just said it. Weed. Weed, man. Brother Bill just said it. Ginseng. They make it illegal for you to do the things that you need to do to survive. And so now you're fighting with immigrants instead of fighting with the people who made it illegal for you to run moonshine and grow ginseng. Because a corporation can make more money selling alcohol. Corporation can make more money selling drugs. Focus on the root problem. Oh, the same reason that the other side is attacking the police and is stupid. Training, we need to train the police. No, they don't need training. The police have PTSD and they're supposed to because the people are stupid. The people call the police for every damn thing. They don't handle any of their problems. They're big children. They call the police for barbecues. Hell yeah, the police gonna have PTSD. Because y'all turn, I'm telling mommy, into I'm calling the police. You know, what's worse than that? I'm calling my politician. The politician probably has PTSD from making all these laws from these big babies that can't handle their own problems. And so you get thousands and thousands of laws that give the police more PTSD. They get more people shot, Lavoy Finicum, people in the ghetto. And it's just like, is anybody paying attention? Do you actually see where you're not helping solve a problem? You're actually perpetuating it. Don't add fuel to the fire, Brother Vegan just said. Don't add fuel to the fire. That's all you're doing. You think that you're helping, but you're shaking kerosene on the fire, wondering why the blaze is getting higher. Think. Don't think, and I don't think I'm smart. I'm not smart. I just did problem analysis for the longest time for the biggest corporations on this planet that should not exist. And it's helped my brain, this really dumb brain that did a lot of dumb things as a child. Always focus on the bigger picture. Always do root cause analysis. Always look to the 30,000 foot layer. When they say socialism is going to solve the problems, did it? And do the concepts that socialism works on, will they exist in 20 years? Will human labor still be as big as a thing then as it was back then when they created capitalism, socialism? No, they won't be, because it's collective robot labor. And who owns collective robot labor? Not you, not the government, corporations. Capitalism. Oh, we got to stay by the cap. First of all, there's never been a capitalist system ever on this planet. They've always been crony capitalism, because the people who control the coffers always make sure it's crony, and they make sure that your family will never have a shot. You might be able to get a nice F-350, nice house, but that's it. Your kids will never go beyond that, because it's always crony capitalism. Besides the fact, money won't exist in 20 years. It's gone. Gone. Still waiting for somebody to debate that. I wish somebody would tell me something, because I'd love to feel happy about it. I'd love to feel, yeah, money gonna be here. Makes sense to save some money. Put it in a bank account instead of taking that money out, buying solar panels, wind vanes, and doing the things that we want government to do. Money's gone. Robots don't work for it. Oh, who's that? Sister Ellen said, anyone? No. Was it Ellen? No. Yep. Anyone else connect timeouts to prison yet? Jeannie said that. Y'all see that? Has anyone connected timeouts to prison yet? Does anyone know what she's talking about? It's like a daycare. Kids acting bad, what do? No, you can't color, baby. You can't eat the cookies and milk. You're not gonna get that. You need to go sit in timeout. Prison. At one side, no, stop sending us to prison, but they're voting for the left and more laws. Got the right, yeah, you need to go to prison because you broke the laws, and welfare is a bad thing, but you're going to pay more welfare for the inmate than you did if they were outside collecting welfare. Yeah, every argument has this circle jerk. It's a big circle jerk, and everybody's handing around lotion. That was wrong. But it is. It's a big circle jerk. And everybody keeps handing around lotion. Why we gotta keep doing this? I'm tired of doing this. It's time out. Thank you. Absolutely, sister. It is time out. There's no question about it. They took time out. And I'm telling mommy, where did that go? I'm calling the police. Only got on Facebook today to hear you. Oh, thank you, sister. Man, ain't seen you around in a minute. Good to see you, girl. I can't handle Facebook anymore because of the same topics of discussion. Yeah, it is crazy. But you know, Amanda, that's why I laugh a lot. I laugh. That's why I have the friends I do. My friends keep me whole. Y'all ain't figured that out yet. You need to work on that. The only reason I come on here, the only reason I can go see homeless people when I drive around and not feel horrible about people fighting over their own little greed and their own little truck, their own little, their disgust that they're disgust with Donald Trump because they're not Donald Trump. They're disgust with Obama because they didn't have the powers Obama had. The only thing that makes it doable for me is it's so ridiculous that it's funny. It's so ridiculous that it's funny, and most of my friends, they won't let me cry. It's okay to cry. They won't let me. They're too funny. They just like, it's that ridiculous that adults believe the things that they do anymore. But we still got time, you guys. We still got time. We still got time to get rid of our idealisms beyond being a humanist. We still got time to get rid of our labels beyond being human. We still got time because the robots aren't ready to go yet. And you know that because the deep state is still deep. When the deep state isn't deep anymore, it's all over. It's done. That's it. That's why I'm laughing. That's why, Amanda, that's why I laugh. I laugh and we got a chance. We got a chance. And we can do it. But it takes everybody. It takes everybody. And whatever platform you share on, it's all good. Like right now, I think I'm on YouTube. I'm on Periscope, Minds, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter. If you don't follow me on YouTube, go to YouTube, please. and hit the subscribe button. Even if you don't watch it, to hit the subscribe, because the more you do these things, the higher it raises the person who's saying the thing in the algorithm. So if anything I'm saying is resounding with you, if any of it's making any sense, take the moment, go to YouTube, and just hit the subscribe button. Make a little account. Just hit that button. It's important. Otherwise, the videos, they don't get ranked higher and higher. Because being silent guarantees our future. And I'll ask you, is this planet going the direction you want it to go? Is that the future that you really want for your kids? Last couple comments and I'm gonna go. He who finds humor is in a given situation wins. Yes, Crystal. And because he who finds humor and finds spirituality in bad situations, they know that there's much greater than this. They're not worried about what happens on this planet. They want to make it go right, but if it doesn't go right, you can't scare them into doing anything else. When I visit my son who's incarcerated, I observe the COs, the prison guards, and yes, they're imprisoned as well. They are, Sandra. Oh, you know what, Sandra? And that's how I know you're real, girl, and I love you. I have to tell you, I love you. I single you out today. I love you because you are real. You are real, and you obviously have that connection to something greater. You can look at the men who are keeping your son where they are, or the men who are paid to do that, and you see humanity in them. And you realize that they're a part of this sick system too. And the only way to bring it down is to not attack the newspaper, but it's to go after the newspaper incorporated. Perhaps then you go after the nation that allows fake news to exist. And then you go after the concepts and people that allow them to loot each other and rob each other. I'm gonna post a link from Chris Hedges, you guys. Want y'all to watch it. I think I already did. Y'all have a wonderful day. Love y'all to death. It's not too late, people. It's not too late. Appreciate your likes. Appreciate your shares, not just mine. Y'all need to be following a lot of people. You need to be following Brother Will Bunting. You need to be following Chris Lewis, Ty, some of my favorites, Trish and Bish. You need to follow Claudia. You need to follow Debbie. All of these people I'm constantly posting videos from. I'm finding new ones, meeting new ones. Brother Andrew does his videos. Brother Mike does his videos. Y'all need to be watching that. Everybody's got different perspectives, but everybody's on that same page. You gotta keep getting down to the problem and solving it. I don't always get it right. I don't want to always get it right. I just want to put my thoughts out there and have somebody tweak it or help me to get my thoughts where they need to be, y'all. All right, I'm out. Stop judging people, drop the labels. It's not too late. Y'all have a wonderful day. Love y'all to death, and bye-bye.